Everyone in town knew what happened that night. They just pretended they didn't. A woman vanished without a scream. Powerful family closed ranks. And the truth was buried so deep that even the law refused to touch it. This is not a story about a mystery that was never discovered. This is a story about a truth that was never allowed to be spoken. And by the end of the story, you'll understand why some cases are never solved. Not because there's no evidence, but because justice has a price. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Stories like this don't get told everywhere, and you won't want to miss the next one. Now, let's begin. The town of Briarwood prided itself on quiet streets and well-kept secrets. On the night Angela Freeman disappeared, the air felt wrong. Neighbors would later say they heard something. Tires screeching, a sharp argument, a woman's voice breaking into panic. But when the police came knocking the next morning, every door opened with the same answer. I didn't hear a thing. Angela was 29, black, brilliant, and inconvenient. She worked as a legal assistant at the most powerful law firm in town, the same firm that represented half the city council and nearly every wealthy family with something to hide. Angela saw documents she wasn't supposed to remember, numbers that didn't add up, names that repeated too often. The last person seen with her was Ethan Caldwell, the golden son of Briarwood's most influential family. He'd grown up untouchable, wrapped in privilege so thick it acted like armor. Security footage from a gas station showed Angela getting into Ethan's car at 10:47 p.m. By midnight, she was gone. No body, no arrest, no urgency. By sunrise, the town had already decided what the truth was not going to be. Detective Marcus Hill knew the case was wrong from the start. The orders came fast and quiet. Keep it clean. Don't push. Angela's apartment showed signs of struggle. A broken lamp, a smear of blood behind the couch. But the report described it as inconclusive. Her phone records were partially erased. Her laptop was missing, and the security camera outside her building just happened to malfunction that night. Coincidence stacked on top of coincidence until it became obvious. Ethan Caldwell was questioned for less than 30 minutes. No search warrant, no car inspection, no follow-up. His father, Robert Caldwell, was a major donor to the police foundation. His mother chaired the hospital board. Their name was stitched into the town itself. Detective Hill pushed anyway. 2 weeks later, he was reassigned to parking violations. The message was clear. Some truths cost careers. Meanwhile, Angela's mother, Lorraine Freeman, held press conferences alone. She stood in front of microphones with shaking hands and a photo of her daughter pressed to her chest. She mattered, Lorraine said, even if you pretend she didn't. The town looked away. 3 months after Angela disappeared, a package arrived at the office of a local journalist named Claire Whitman. Inside was a flash drive and a note written in Angela's handwriting. If something happens to me, don't let them erase this. The files exposed everything. Illegal land seizures in black neighborhoods, forged signatures, bribes laundered through shell companies. At the center of it all, Ethan Caldwell. Angela had been preparing to go public. Claire tried to publish the story. Her editor killed it within hours. Advertisers threatened to pull out. Anonymous callers warned her to drop it. One message was left on her voicemail at 2:11 a.m. You don't want to end up like Angela. Claire backed up the files and quit. Justice, it turned out, didn't just fail loudly. It failed quietly, behind closed doors with polite smiles and signed checks. Years passed. Briarwood grew richer. New buildings replaced old homes. The Caldwells expanded their influence. Ethan married, ran for office, and spoke often about law and order. Angela's case was officially labeled cold. But the town never forgot. They whispered at barbershops. They looked away when Ethan passed. They taught their daughters to be careful around men with power and no consequences. Lorraine Freeman died without answers. Detective Hill retired early, haunted by the file he kept hidden in his basement. A copy of the evidence that was never allowed into court. The town moved on. But guilt has a way of aging badly. It happened during Ethan Caldwell's campaign for state senate. An anonymous leak hit the internet. Everything. The files. The recordings. The gas station footage. Extended. Unedited. Showing Angela trying to get out of the car. The source? A dying man. Robert Caldwell, riddled with cancer and guilt, confessed in a recorded statement meant to clear his conscience. "I paid them," he said. "I buried it. I protected my son." The footage went viral. Ethan was arrested, not for Angela's murder, which had passed the statute of limitations, but for obstruction, fraud, and conspiracy. The crowd outside the courthouse chanted Angela's name. Justice didn't come how it should have, but it came loud enough to be heard. Angela Freeman's body was never found. Her murder was never officially solved, but her truth dismantled an empire. Ethan Caldwell lost everything: his career, his reputation, his freedom, and the town of Briarwood was forced to look at itself in the mirror. They knew. They always knew. And they finally learned that silence doesn't erase guilt. It only delays justice. Some cases aren't unsolved because the truth is missing. They're unsolved because power decided the truth was inconvenient. Angela Freeman didn't get the justice she deserved, but she got something just as dangerous to the powerful: exposure. Let this story remind you, silence protects oppressors. Truth survives time, and justice, even delayed, still burns. If this story moved you, disturbed you, or made you think, subscribe to the channel right now. Because these stories don't just entertain, they remind us why the truth must be told. Everyone in town knew what happened. Now, so do you.